His own mother looked him in the eyes and swore his son wasn't his. One DNA test proved her right, but the second one exposed a betrayal that nearly destroyed their family forever. Etim stood alone in the hospital corridor, staring at the DNA report in his hands, as if reading it one more time might somehow change the words. 3 months earlier, after weeks of quiet pressure, he'd reluctantly agreed to Mama Ekemini's insistence that they settle the growing family whispers with a DNA test. She claimed the baby didn't have his eyes, his complexion, or the stubborn expression every member of their family seemed to inherit. Etim had hated the idea, but eventually gave in, hoping the result would silence everyone. Instead, the paper delivered a sentence that shattered him. Probability of paternity, 0%. His knees weakened. He remembered holding his son minutes after birth, counting each tiny finger twice out of pure joy. He remembered whispering his late father's name into Anifiok's ear before anyone else had entered the room. Now, one sheet of paper threatened to erase every one of those memories. He drove home in silence, the folded report burning a hole in his pocket. Every sentence he rehearsed dissolved before he reached the front gate. Inside, Ino was in the kitchen, gently humming while stirring a pot, their baby tied securely to her back. The ordinary warmth of the moment made his chest tighten. Without saying a word, Etim placed the report on the table. Ino wiped her hands and picked it up. As she read, confusion slowly replaced surprise. Then, disbelief. She looked up. "Where did you even get this tested?" The question caught him completely off guard. He opened his mouth, but couldn't answer. Because the truth was painfully simple. He had never asked. He had trusted Mama Ekemini's arrangements without questioning a single detail. Later that night, Ino quietly explained something she had almost forgotten. Weeks before the test, Mama Ekemini had asked her for a few strands of Anifiok's hair. She said she wanted to keep them in his baby album, Ino said softly. I never imagined it was for anything else. For the first time, Etim felt something he never thought possible. Doubt. Not about his wife, about his own mother. Sleep never came that night. He replayed every conversation, every small comment, every warning he had ignored. By sunrise, he had made a decision. If the truth was going to destroy his family, it would at least be the real truth. He booked another DNA test at a different laboratory. This time, he personally watched every sample being collected. The next 2 weeks stretched endlessly. Every evening Etim came home, he found himself holding Anifiok a little longer than usual. Some nights he cried after everyone had fallen asleep. Not because he knew the truth, because he was terrified of whichever truth was waiting. When the laboratory finally called, he sat inside his parked car for nearly 20 minutes before opening the envelope. His hands shook. This report read differently. Probability of paternity, 99.99%. His eyes blurred. He read it again and again. The laboratory manager gently explained that the previous report appeared inconsistent with proper collection procedures and strongly advised an investigation. Someone had interfered with the first test. For the first time in weeks, Etim allowed himself to breathe. When Etim confronted Mama Ekemini, she denied everything. At first. Then she saw the second report. Her shoulders collapsed. Between tears, she admitted she had never truly accepted Eno. She believed her son's future deserved someone from a better family. When persuasion failed, she convinced a dishonest laboratory worker to replace the sample, believing one false result would end the marriage forever. Etim listened without interrupting. He wasn't shouting anymore. Some pain sits too deep for anger. The woman who had spent his childhood teaching him honesty had broken his family with the biggest lie he had ever known. That evening, Etim found Eno sitting outside with Annie Ifiok asleep against her chest. For several minutes, neither of them spoke. Finally, he broke the silence. I'm sorry. I trusted a piece of paper before I trusted the woman who has never given me a reason to doubt her. Eno looked down at the sleeping child, then back at her husband. I can't pretend this didn't hurt. She paused. But I don't want our son to grow up inside someone else's lie. It wasn't complete forgiveness. Trust doesn't return in a single conversation. But it was the first small step toward rebuilding everything they almost lost. A year passed. Mama Ekemini now lived in her own apartment. Etim still visited from time to time, not because everything had been forgiven, but because family is complicated and healing rarely happens all at once. Anyefiok had learned to run. Every time the little boy laughed and shouted, "Papa," another piece of the old pain quietly disappeared. On Anyefiok's first birthday, Etim placed both DNA reports inside a small wooden memory box. He had thought about framing them. Instead, he closed the lid. Some memories deserved to stay as lessons, not decorations. Looking across the room at Eno, laughing as Anyefiok chased balloons across the floor, Etim realized the strongest proof of fatherhood had never been written on laboratory paper. It had always been written in love, trust, and the family they chose to protect.